Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to episode 3 of the Executive Brief. My name is Eric Taylor with Barricade Cyber Solutions. I am the Chief Forensic Operator and CEO here at Barricade Cyber Solutions. And if you're kind of wondering what this is, well, this is a couple of the top stories of the week that has been of interest to me. And want to talk about them because I don't think they've gotten much publicity in the news and want you to be aware. So this is a an episode that is on Friday that is more designed for the executive suite. So we will not be going very technical in depth with a lot of these things, but we will tackle these things at a very high level. Thank you for all those who are joining. I do greatly appreciate it. And with that, we will get things fired up to start off the news. I'm not 100% sure if that's working, but we'll get going. All right. Here we go. Here's the first story. Now, I'm sure plenty of dolphin noises will be coming up from some of the stuff that we chose for this week. So, with that, sit back, strap in, and let's talk about some cybersecurity news.
The Federal Trade Commission, FTC, recently
Let me turn up that volume.
The Federal Trade Commission, FTC, recently closed its public comment period regarding proposed changes to health breach notification rules. These changes aim to address the evolving digital landscape, especially concerning health apps and technologies that collect vast amounts of health data and share it with third parties. Current regulations, such as the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, HIPAA, do not adequately cover these digital platforms. The FTC's proposed changes include clarifying definitions, expanding breach definitions, and enhancing consumer notifications. Business owners and executives should be aware of these potential changes as they could impact how health data is managed and protected in the digital age.
What's up? So, thank you so much for Jess Bishop. Jess Bishop, much love to you. Thank you so much for that super chat. I really, really do appreciate it. For you, definitely get that sounder going for you. This is definitely something that's going to be interesting to keep an eye on. So, FTC, Federal Trade Commission, they do a lot of oversight in government. In some people's definition of overreach on the way that a lot of the businesses operate from a telecommunication standpoint, some cloud infrastructure, things of that nature, and they're wanting to really crack down. So a lot of so in the digital forensics, we have one of the many books we have is a book literally of state by state. We list out what's a breach and what's classified as PII, things of that nature. And I mean, you literally have to have a book pretty thick to cover each state. And the association that gives us out actually has a QR code, so that way we can keep updated information on these things as laws potentially change. And it seems like the FTC is definitely one to expand that and standardize it. And I say, good luck with that. We've seen a lot of these reports come out from the government and wanting to do this thing. I do think from the cases that we have been working, a lot of states will only classify a breach if it impacts the local infrastructure of the organization. They don't consider like a BEC, business email compromise, a breach. They don't classify unauthorized access to SharePoint or Dropbox or Box.com or whatever the case is. So it's definitely interesting to see how the breach councils that we bring in on these cases really see and try to navigate these type of waters. So, trying to get a standardized breach notification and, notification timelines. So, HIPAA pretty much states, when you have to do that notification. I guess FTC is not happy with the standard turnaround time for HIPAA. The one thing to always remember when working a cybersecurity incident, we never say breach, compromise, ransomware. We don't say any of those things until it is legally delegated from the forensic findings, right? So we're always investigating a cybersecurity incident. You know, even several of the cases that we have going on this week, in our kickoff call, we say, do not use very careful terminology, because a lot of states, as soon as you mention breach, you mention ransomware, all these things, you start that effective clock down or countdown to notification. And those things are a legal determination that should only be, rectified. So in those cases that we don't have breach counsel involved, we say we we are recommending this be treated as a breach based off of the information we have, but we don't ever say we are classifying this as a breach, right? So some things clearly, like ransomware, is clearly a breach. And again, you know, state by state determination. So, if you are, in the healthcare industry, whether you are prime, you are that doctor's office, or you are, downstream, you're providing SaaS services, you're providing dental, you're providing hosted platforms for dental and other medical entities. You got to be aware that they're going to be coming down on you, requiring more stringent timelines for those notification laws. So um, it'd be interesting. The one thing that always kind of goes around, and it really is, unfortunately, the honor system. So unless you have some third party, aka the ones that were very active in the co-op, quote unquote, ransomware, but they were just data exfiltration on Move It, or you're hit by ransomware or something of that nature, the only way you're going to know, or anybody's going to really know, that you were involved in any sort of cybersecurity incident is through a third party disclosure saying, hey, we hacked you, we stole all your stuff, and things like that. So, uh, and that's the same thing with HIPAA, right? So unless you have someone inside the organization that is a quote unquote whistleblower, or the clinic self discloses to HIPAA that they have an incident, it's you're still going to be, you know, uh, best thing, I guess, the gentleman's agreement or the honor system, I guess, is the best way to put it, but it is what it is. But anyway, on to story number two.
Attention business owners and executives, a new report from Analyst One reveals insights into the Lockbit ransomware group. This notorious cyber gang is responsible for targeting businesses globally. The report highlights their tactics, techniques, and procedures, emphasizing the importance of cybersecurity measures. Stay vigilant and ensure your company's digital assets are protected.
Yeah, I mean, Lockbit's been around for a long time. So the key thing to take away from this is, definitely, I posted the link in the chat. I will post all the links after this to put in the various platforms of Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube after this thing. But the one thing to note, especially from this one, that the read didn't really show. So through through analyst one's findings, they have found that Lockbit has had a major problem in properly, I guess, leaking information is the best way to say, which anybody who's been in forensics for a while knows that's kind of the case. So what through negotiations, you tried to do what's called several things of proof of concept. You try to say, did you take this information? Show me proof you've taken this information, blah, 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 trying to determine, you know, the proper data exfiltration, and that they actually say, or they actually have what they say they have. They have a major infrastructure issue, thankfully. So if you're on the dark web and you're watching these data leaks being put out by these threat actors, then you see that there's a lot of missing information. They stop at 20% or whatever. So I don't want to get overly technical on this because it's not really designed for that. But in short, the threat actor, when they go to do data exfiltration of your files out, they will run a script that will generate a list of all the files of importance, all the doc files, text files, PDFs, things of that nature. And then that script will capture that and send it off to an external source or compress it and send it off as one big file, whichever threat actor you may be dealing with. So a lot of times these things get interrupted, they don't get all the files, things of that nature. So it definitely, they don't ever get as much as they ever say. So always know if you're in a ransomware situation, you want to see just how much data they actually did get. Was any of it that they're claiming to get is potentially sensitive to your organization? Again, different states classify PII differently. Sorry, PII, personal protected information, and different states have different notifications for breaches. So it's it's definitely interesting to see that Lockbit claims to have much more than they really, really do. So definitely read up on that. Talk to your internal teams, about where is your key data is the key thing to take away from there. And if you ever got hit with a cybersecurity incident, when you're going through your proof of concept, did they actually capture that potential key information?
In the first half of 2023, over 1,500 organizations globally fell victim to ransomware attacks, as reported by Rapid7. Three major ransomware gangs, namely Lockbit, Black Hat or ALPHV, and CL0P, were responsible for the majority of these attacks. Alarmingly, 39% of these incidents were due to inadequate enforcement of multi-factor authentication. Business owners and executives are urged to prioritize cybersecurity measures, especially multi-factor authentication, to protect their organizations from such threats.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, he's talking about ransomware." The one key thing that I want business owners and executives to understand, yes, ransomware cases are up. Okay, got it. Um, you know, there's we can argue if they're really up or not. That's because of the conflict overseas. But it was mentioned in here that MFA was a major part of this thing. So I'm trying to find the actual one, but I'll post this thing here in the link as well. So a lot of the forensics has been finding, proper implementation of MFA throughout your organization, not just key people, is very key to helping stopping ransomware and just unauthorized access altogether inside of your environment. So please deploy MFA everywhere you can. Anything that supports it. Do single sign-on with your Azure AD, do MFA, do whatever you have to do. If you have tools that are only doing email-based, get off of that, please. Um, do proper cyber hygiene. Get proper implementations of real security stuff. Um, talk to your team. Do you have MFA on every last application that you have? Because it really, really is critical.
In the first half of
Oh,
2023, attention business owners and executives, cybercriminals are now using advanced AI tools like OpenAI's ChatGPT and WormGPT to launch sophisticated business email compromise attacks. These tools craft highly convincing fake emails, increasing the risk of successful cyber attacks. It's crucial to stay vigilant and bolster email security measures against these AI-driven threats.
This is absolutely true, and this is kind of the fourth story of the day. Again, if you're this is your first time, I like these things to be real short and sweet and to the point. But we are seeing business email compromises with what we suspect to be products of either ChatGPT or WarmGPT, and creating the sophisticated, really good looking emails that are tricking a lot of folks to download malicious payloads and things of that nature. So uh, be do your due diligence, be hyper aware that these things are going in. The marketing team here really does want me to do a complete walkthrough of how Worm GPT actually works, how the application runs, and how it would look on a potential victim using a couple scenarios. So we're going to spin that up over the weekend. We're going to run through some case scenarios with some of uh, our throwaway accounts. So if that's of interest of you, say that yes, Worm GPT of interest or whatever, definitely subscribe because we will be putting that out here very soon. And with that, I mean, just you really got to make sure that you're doing proper stuff. So hopefully this was a benefit to you and your team. Again, check out the links that will be below that will update shortly to make sure that you are completely aware of some of the real top cybersecurity news of the week, and just make sure that you're doing the best you can going into the weekend and into the following weeks. Thanks so much for joining, y'all. Now, time for some sea shanty.
There once was a kid whose passwords laid across all sites. They were the same. A criminal then found their fame by taking that data to go.
Soon may a criminal come to steal your pictures and data and run. One day when the crime is done, they'll steal your account and go.